How are we going, everyone? The last of the Italian Malaccas. That's them there. There's 4 there, 5. There's a big Malacca over there on his own. Actually, there's a couple of more Italians, and there's a couple of more green ones down here. We're not sure if they're going to ripen, but we'll let them do their business and see how far we go with them. But if you haven't got your Italian Malacca seeds, well, there's only 4 or 5 fruit left, and there's not a lot of seeds in each one. So look out for them. They're offline at the moment, but as soon as we harvest those, we'll put them online, and within half an hour, they'll be offline again. So monitor them if you want to get your seeds. Now, today's topic is, let's revisit our little superfood trial that we're doing here. I haven't read any of the reports out of recently, but I thought let's just come and see what's happening here with these 2 plants. If you remember, we planted directly into Superfood, a mandevilla, which has gone backwards ever since. Not sure what's happened here because it was still showing good signs of growth and holding its green leaves, but it did drop them off. But I must remind you all that I was away for about 10 to 12 days up till this week, the beginning of this week, from the show and all things like that. This could have been left out there for too long to dry. It could have been the sun that done it. It could have been the cold weather as well. But look at this. Now, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, Superfood is our fertiliser, a new organic fertiliser, and I've planted directly into it with an elderflower and a mandevilla. Mandevilla's gone backwards. This has gone nuts. You can see it is working, so we're not sure what happened there. My bad, because I wasn't around. But let's have a look and see if we've got any roots on this now. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is to see whether or not... Oh, yeah, look at that. There's roots there coming around. All right, so it's holding its moisture. It's all wet there. I don't have to water this. It's quite dry on top, but really damp at the bottom. And we've got a little colony of butchie boys and centipedes going on down here, so we should get rid of those. But that's okay. It's look, isn't it amazing? I got it up on the bench here, and these little critters, out of nowhere, they weren't in the superfood. They've managed to climb up this table and find their way into this little pot. So we have got this growing directly in it. And the reason why we did the trials to see if I can grow directly in superfood, in case some of us put too much in the garden and we end up starting to burn the plants. Now, the signs are here showing you that it's not going to burn your plant. Well, not this plant in particular. The mandevilla, slightly different story. I haven't taken this one out at all. So I dare say this one will not have any roots at all. You can see completely different to the other one. So it is a bit boggy. I reckon maybe the pot was too big for this one and it just hasn't ever taken off. So I should, you know what? Let's just quickly do it. See if we can salvage this. Oh, look at that. That's all fallen out. So we've got so much extra superfood in here, we don't need it. Is there anything left of this little plant? Let's clean it up. Yeah, a little bit dark, the roots. You don't want to see dark roots. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. See these dark roots? It means they're not getting enough air in them. They're dying off. So if you've got that sort of problem, you're best to do what I'm just doing now, clean it up. It's in a little jiffy plug as well. So that's what it was growing off initially. I'm going to pot this up again in the same stuff, folks, but I'm not going to put it in a big pot. Look how small it is. We're going to salvage this. All right, so I'm going to use this 5-inch herb pot. I'm going to use the same product. It's just too wet. That's all that's happened. It's not the food itself, but it's the size of the pot. When you're potting up, here's a couple of rules, folks. When you're potting up from small plants to the next size up, so if you've got a plant in this size here, this is as big as you want to go, maybe a little bit bigger than that. So you go from a 4-inch to a 6-inch to an 8-inch. So we went from, I think it was a 4-inch like this, maybe smaller, straight into an 8-inch. You can see the size difference, way too big. Well, initially it was okay because it was summer when we did it. So we've gone 6 weeks down the track plus, and it hasn't grown its roots, whereas the elderflower has. So now we're going to go backwards and go back down to a 5-inch, so from this size to that size there. And you can see quite comfortably, it's got plenty of room in there to grow. And the only reason it's going backwards is because it wasn't draining well, and that means the ground was becoming inert, boggy, and it's starting to rot. Well, I won't say it was rotting out too quickly, but it just wasn't growing. because it wasn't able to feed through and get enough airflow. You know, good organic matter, folks, has to have airflow, moisture, heat, carbon, nitrogen, all the above. And this is like a real fluffy sponge. Now we're going to sit that in there. I'm keeping it a little bit lower. See the bottom of the pot that is? See how far down I am here? Why I'm doing that is that I want to create a little wall around it, so I don't want it to sit too high above the pot and the crosswinds dry it out. I'm going to keep it down low like that, and then once it does grow, I'll give it some time to grow its roots, and we'll transplant it into a bigger pot. That's all we need to do. There we are. No water. And this is crazy, but I'm creating a little microclimate with my devil plants. Have a look at that. 1, 2, 3. We're putting that in here. See what I'm doing here? It sounds crazy. My limes, these are my limes. Keep them out of the way. Put that there and put this one here. So we'll just keep it in there like that because my hothouse is too far away and I'm too lazy to walk to it. So we create a little hothouse. Microclimates, that's what it's about. Understand where's the warm spot in your garden. So if you've got plants that are susceptible to cold weather and go backwards, move them, put them in a warm spot. If they're in the ground, you can't move them, obviously, but if they're in pots, move them around the garden, chase the sun, protect them from the cold weather. If you're trying to grow frangipanis, especially against the brick walls, things like that. So they're the benefits, and this is what we call establishing your microclimate. It's up here, and it's been weathered in this already, but now I'm just going to give it a little bit more protection, and believe it or not, this little surround here is ample. It's not in the full blazing sun on its own. If it's a sunny day, it's not copping the crosswinds. We know we move all this away. It's exposed to all the elements, harsh elements. Like here, it still gets a bit of a draft here and there, but nowhere near as extreme, and it's well protected. So protect your plants that are susceptible to cold weather, hot weather as well. If you've potted up a tiny little plant into a big pot and it hasn't taken, don't wait any longer. Transplant it back down into a smaller size pot, as I have. Superfood is available on our website. The trials are doing extremely well. The backfall on this one here is not because of the superfood, but rather the pot size, and is a prime example of what you can do with superfood when you grow directly into it. Vasili'sGarden.com, it's all there for you. Our click and collect should be up and running, folks, so you can go to our Coburg site to collect your range. So check it all out at Vasili'sGarden.com. The distributions rates have dropped down dramatically, so pick up, obviously, free charges, and soon to come is another distributor for us, even bigger savings to come. It's all at Vasili'sGarden.com. From me, Vasili, Maresi.